Today, so I've got to be really careful. And that's
Alright, what's up guys? It's Archer Turbo here from the internet. Now, today we're going to set cam timing on our Rocket 3 engine. We're going to need this tool. Well, you don't really need this tool, but if you're doing it yourself, it's very handy. 20mm spanner. Just one. We can have two. I'm going to use just one. So, what we have here is we already have, if you can see it, it's in there. The crankset, the TDC, cylinder one. This is what your cams look like. You want to have cylinder one lobes pointing up on inlet and exhaust. You want to go ahead and lift the chain off your sprockets like so. So to grab your 20mm spanner and this tool. What we're going to do is we're going to rotate. We'll start with the exhaust. We're going to grab the exhaust like so. And we will rotate until this mark here lines up with this here. And then we put the tool on it. That's pretty much it. Tool should go right in like that. Get us the exhaust. Now we do the same for the inlet. We want to go down here, get a good purchase on it. There we go. That's it. Well, it's not it, but that's approximately where the cams will be when it's set. Slight gap here. Now, we're going to take our chain. We're going to put it on. You want to pull up this end to kind of tension that. Only one won't sit straight on, so I'm going to have to drop it back a tooth. I'm going to do this side the same. Although, as you can see, when I have this chain under tension here, I'm half tooth out, so I have to go that way. The tension will be taken up after by the tensioner. I want to make sure my chain is sitting into, see the way I'm half tooth out here as well. Don't worry, the tensioner, I'll take that up after. You just want to make sure the chain is on here. I'm going to go ahead and push the tensioner in here with my finger. My chain is sitting into the drive cog, drive sprocket on the crank at this side, left side, tensioning side. You can let go of that. You want to grab your tensioner. You have the center nut and spring taken out. And you have this guy pushed back in again, but on the first click of the ratchet. 8mm for this. Sit him in there like this. Now, you need to torque that to 9 Newton meters according to the manual. Now when you have that done, tightened up, you want to make sure that your chain is sitting into, it's not good to see here, but make sure your chain is sitting into like that, sitting onto your sprocket. What you do is you push that guy in like that, and he should take up the tension. Now you can see my chain is sitting on my sprocket, okay. Now at that side, on the right hand side there, it's not, but the tension will take that up when we turn the engine over. So now we take our center nut and 19 socket, hexagonal socket on a bi-hex. And place him in here. Just to give him push, replicate the spring tension. Then what you gotta do is calipers, measure the drop. Okay, I got 13.78 millimeters. 16 is the limit. Once you hit 16 millimeters or more, you need to use trident spacer, or you can make your own if you know the dimensions. You know, you don't need to put the spacer in because I'm less than that, but I'm not finished yet. Make sure this very fine thread on this, so you want to make sure it's very square before you rotate it in, and you do not want to cross thread this. So make sure you keep an eye on it, make sure she's nice and square at all times until you've got a few threads in, and then you can turn away like normal. And I've got a few threads there, so try and say this copper washer should be new, but I figure it's not like a brake line or anything, there's only splashes of oil coming out this way, so you're okay with reusing it, I reckon. Now, it has to be tightened to 23 Newton meters. This one does up to 25. No need to worry about this. I'm just doing it the correct method because I'm on television here, but Leave that there for a moment. We can remove this. And should be. That's not bad. And can't see it. We are at top of the center. Up there. Now, this is a 24mm hexagonal. You want to be careful that you don't lean down on this because you'll damage the threads here. You have to keep it centered. Hear that? That's the tensioner. Tensioner clicking again. That's the tensioner taking up the slack in the chain that we couldn't. So we turned the engine over 3 or 4 times and check the timing. And here we go. Now, I need to get TDC here, so you can't see this, but I can. Got slightly past TDC there. Now these never line up absolutely perfectly in my experience. You see that? They're lined up okay at this level. The tool sits straight in, but you're slightly past TDC. Should happen. I'll try it a couple more times. One. Two. Three. Now we're getting close to TDC here. Now we're ever so slightly past TDC here. Don't think that focused right. It's not focused great, but you can see I'm slightly past TDC there. And I'm half to that here. So that's it. Timing is set. Might be half a tooth out here and pretty much perfect there, but you can't do anything with half a tooth. You're either, if I was to go forward, if I was to advance a tooth, I'd be half toothed the other side and so on. So that's about as much you can do. Now what we need to do is, where's my 19 gone? There we are. The manual just says check the depth of this when you're assembling it, but the trouble is when you rotate the engine it takes up more slack out of the chain and this end up clicking a few times. So if you're anywhere close to the 16 millimeter limit, it's very easy to go past it after it's clicked a few more times. So that's why we need to take it apart and measure it, drop again. Like I was 13-14 millimeters last time, and that according to Triumph means I don't need the little cylinder dropped into it. And now my drop is 19.42 millimeters. So I do need, okay, something wrong here, I got 17 this time. Okay, it's kind of awkward because I'm trying to hold the camera here, but it'll take a minute. Do this right. And that's 1797 is what I get there. So 18 millimeters. That's after I turn the engine over. So 18 millimeters is greater than 16, which means I need my spacer. Try and tell you to use this tool thing, but if you know the measurements you don't need a tool. 16 millimeters is the threshold. So that's what this guy is for. We take him and we're going to put him in because his drop is more than 16 millimeters. Now, once again, these threads are very, very fine. You don't want to mess them up. So just be careful putting this on and make sure you keep it nice and square like this. That's the technique I use. I turn it by hand, but I keep this hand pushing it in and holding it straight. Yeah, I don't want to turn this because that'll cause me to lever all over the place and go out of alignment here. So that's pretty good. Now I can go ahead and use this. Now, again, torque it up to 23 Newton meters according to the manual. That's it. Now, that is pretty much it. If you're the reflective type and you like to quadruple check everything, you can go ahead and do that. That's what I'm going to do right now, just because. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this engine over several times, and I'm going to check the timing several times, which basically means you need to turn this over until you hit top dead center, and then this tool should fit on. Slightly past TDC there. Nuts. See, I'm rushing this for the camera, that's what's happening. So to all you guys out there who are gonna give out that I'm not lining up TDC correctly, I should have a timing wheel and all this jazz, yeah, okay, grand, but when you're doing a stock engine, the Triumph instructions are perfectly fine. So I'm maybe a degree out there from top dead center. Again, doesn't really matter all that much. Stock engine, there's a little bit of give and take. So if I turn this guy around again, just for the crack, until I hit TDC and cylinder 1. Now, that's pretty good actually. And now, check out the position of my cam lobes. Check out the position of my sprockets on the cam sprockets. Now again, this guy is half a tooth retarded and this guy is perfect. But half a tooth is to be expected with the stock setup. So now this guy should fit in here. Yep, that's it. Fits in with, well, this is my tool now. I don't know what the triumph tool is like. Slight gap here. Ooh, sitting up a little bit on that side. It should be perpendicular there. So that's what the half tooth is. This guy is half tooth retarded. If I could turn him half tooth more this way, but the chain link to link distance and all that just won't allow it, then this guy would sit in perfectly. So that's pretty much your cam timing done. I've turned it over several times and I didn't get any more clicks out of tensioner, so I'm fairly sure that it is bottomed out. And I had to put the spacer in there because I was like 18 millimeters or something drop. So now what you need to do is get your feeler gauge and check your valve clearances. So right now none of these are ready for clearance checks. What you need to do is turn, I forgot to mention that I have a spark plug taken out per cylinder. I have number 2, 4 and 6 spark plugs taken out. That allows the air to get out the cylinder and I can turn the engine over by hand. So what I need to do is rotate this engine until my cam lobes are pointing directly away from the face of the tappet buckets. Now, the intake clearance specification is from 0.10 to 0.15 of a millimeter. I'm dealing with millimeters here because, well, it's a metric bike and I'm in a metric country, even though we still use a lot of imperial. So I've got my 0.10, my 0.12, which is actually 0.13 because it's 0.127, and my 0.152 blades. The reason it's 0.152 and not 150 is because it's 6 thousandths. It's basically, it goes up in thousandths, 1,000 at a time, this set, and matches it with millimeters. Okay, I'm going to cut that out of the video because it's just gibberish. So first thing you do is check with the lowest clearance. Makes it okay. Yep. Middle clearance. Yeah, that's pretty good. That feels good. And just for the crack, will the 15 go through or the 0.15? No, it will not. So I can say that that clearance there is 0.127, which is good. Okay, my 0.1 goes okay. 0.127 goes okay. 0.125 tight, but I'm going to call that 0.125 now, just because I'm being thorough here. I'm going to get my 0.17, which is actually closer to 0.18 because it's 178, and put that in there. See, will that go? And no, it will not. So that one is 0.15. So now is because I'm doing the intakes. I could go do the exhaust, but I'm going to keep doing the intakes. No, fuck it. That's the end of the video. All you do is turn the engine over until your cam lobes are facing out the way, and you measure your clearance. And if your clearances are out, then you need to take your cams out again and shim, replace your shims. So that's it. That's how you set cam timing on the Rocket 3 engine, stock Rocket 3 engine. Even though this is a 2.5, I mean stock head.